Welcome to Aiken This Week. I'm Emery Langston. Today I'm just delighted to have a very distinguished panel of ladies joining me today to talk about a really exciting initiative, the Women's Leadership Society here in Aiken. And I've known both of these ladies for a long time and am just delighted to have them here today. So Stephanie Franklin, who is the chairperson of Women in Philanthropy, and Ms. Sharon Rogers, who is our president of the United Way of Aiken County. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Well, we're going to be talking about this new initiative, Women in Philanthropy. So, and talking about how that got started and just the wonderful initiative that it is. And I know that both of you have been so invested in the Aiken community, serving others in our community for a very long time. And now this is a new opportunity. So Stephanie, would you tell us a little bit about what the program is?
Well, thank you again for having us on your program. Women in Philanthropy is a leadership circle, and it's an affinity group, a part of United Way. And how women become involved with Women in Philanthropy is automatically through your leadership giving. So if you are a woman and you give at a leadership level, which is $500 or more, you are automatically involved in Women in Philanthropy. And so we have been trying to determine, when we were going to take this initiative. And so a couple of years ago, Sharon got a group of us together and said it's time to start a leadership circle. And we called it Women in Philanthropy. And so it's been going pretty strong. This is really our first full year that we've been able to engage the Women in Philanthropy, engage the leadership circle of United Way, and get the women involved. And so there's, various ways that we're going to get them involved, and we'll be talking about that with you today.
Yes. Well, this, as we've said, that this is somewhat of a new initiative. It was born here locally in 2014. Sharon, before we got started, you were sharing some information about it that I was kind of blown away. So can you talk about how it's comprised here locally and kind of what those numbers are?
It's really exciting, Emery. We have over 540 women in Aiken County that give at that leadership level. So when Stephanie and I and the group of ladies that were part of the steering committee that got this initiative started took a look at that, and we were like, this is an opportunity that we're missing. There are so many issues in our community that surround women and children that are so important. And if we could engage these 540 women and maybe more in our community to address these issues, wouldn't that be amazing? In South Carolina, domestic violence, we are #1 in domestic violence. October's domestic violence month. I've got on my purple and my ribbon, and the statistics are just horrible. Ann Casey Foundation once a year does a kids count, quality of life for children across the United States. South Carolina ranks 41st in the country in children's welfare. That's better than it used to be. We're still in the bottom 9. That's horrible, and it's all the things: education, financial stability, access to health care, all those things that we want our children to have access to. All of our children are blessed. They come from good homes, they have access to all this, but not all the children in Aiken County do. Not too long ago, Dr. Alford, the Aiken County Public School Superintendent, did an editorial, and he talked about poverty being a problem in our community that was causing children not to be as successful in school and not realize opportunities that were available to them. These are issues that we as a community need to come together to address. How better to address those than with 540 women that truly believe in philanthropy and giving back to our communities. So we're excited about this.
Well, it is something to be excited about. It's very empowering.
It is.
And a very engaging opportunity. So I want both of you to tell me personally, why is Women in Philanthropy important to you? And Stephanie, we'll start with you.
Well, you know, we were talking before about being involved in the community, and you had mentioned our involvement in the community. You know, I volunteer with Brothers and Sisters. I volunteer with the Cumbie Center. You know, those are two agencies that are very focused on the needs of women and children. You know, the Cumbie Center you were talking about with domestic violence, and Brothers and Sisters really focus on the well-being of our children. And so having been involved with United Way for 20 plus years, you know, that's where my heart is. And when Sharon approached me with this opportunity to get involved with Women in Philanthropy, that felt very empowering to me, to have a voice in addressing even more so the specific needs of our women and our children here in Aiken County. So that's what it means to me, is to give those 540 women more of a voice than what they've had before. You know, they obviously have skin in the game because they're giving at a leadership level and they're excited about giving, but now we want to say, come on, we can rally together around some of these issues and do more. So that's why I'm involved.
I think that's wonderful. Sharon, what is it for you?
Oh, it's so exciting, Emery. You know, I look at other United Ways in our state that are larger than we are. Charleston, Greenville, Columbia, and they already have these leadership societies. And the good that is being done in their communities, that we are not perhaps harnessing that power in our community to have those same things done. United Way has such an imprint in Aiken County. So many, the generosity of so many people. We are able to provide funding for over 50 critical need programs, over 35 partner agencies. But this allows us to increase that footprint, to do more specifically for women and children, which those issues, education in particular, is very near and dear to my heart. Something that without education you lack that opportunity that you need to be successful, to have that good quality life. So anything that we can do as women in our community to make sure all of our children have that same opportunity that our children have and had, I am just passionate about.
Yes, and that always shows through very well with both of you. Your passion and your heart for this shows through. So y'all are wonderful spokespeople to be talking about that. And knowledge is power, and being able to give that to children who just need the extra resources. This is exciting, Sharon. So with your acronym is WIP, Women in Philanthropy. There's a grant that's associated with this, and donated to some nonprofits. I believe last year was your first giving cycle in the grants. So can you both talk about who the recipients were for those grants and how that had an impact?
Well, one of the ways that we got the Women in Philanthropy involved was through the grant process. And so the steering committee did not make the decision. We did put an ad in the paper so we could get it out to the public to let them know about the grant process. And in that process, we had, I believe, over 20 submittals. And from the 20 submittals, we sent them to the Women in Philanthropy group for them to take a vote and look at the needs of what the community was telling us about. And from that, six organizations were awarded, and we were very fortunate to give out about $25,000 this year. And so that is very exciting. And the agencies that were the recipients was Child Advocacy Center, and they're going to be focusing on preventing child abuse within our community. And then we also issued a grant to Christ Central, and they're going to be focusing on creating a garden for the children and introducing them to gardening and Farmers of America. So that's really exciting, you know, because we all need to eat and we enjoy eating. And learning how to produce your own food is really exciting. Then there was the Center of the Arts, and what they were awarded a grant for was 20 students with special needs were going to have an opportunity to go to a summer camp. So that was really exciting. And then we also awarded grants to ACTS, and we awarded grants to Brothers and Sisters and to the Women's Bill to support Habitat for Humanity. So it was really exciting. We had Miss Ann Campbell. She was our guest speaker. This happened back in May, and she really got the group excited about philanthropy, and of course she is a philanthropist within her own rights, and issued those grants, and we are excited about what is going to happen as a result of those grants being issued.
Sure, and I know that under United Way, that the measurables, that is so important.
Correct.
And when there are parameters around the grants that these folks have to meet to make sure that they're hitting the milestones and hitting the mark with the vision and the mission that is set forth for their organizations and for the United Way.
Mm-hmm.
So going forward with this, we're hoping that there will be a 2017 cycle.
Correct.
Yes.
And nonprofits can
Correct.
apply
Correct. You have to be a 501c3.
to apply for the funds.
Yes.
And I guess for more information on that will be forthcoming.
Correct. There is the guidelines from last year are still on our website, uwaiken.org. And if you go to the homepage of uwaiken.org, then you'll see the little whip icon down at the bottom, and just click on that. The grant process probably will not be reopened until February of next year, but the guidelines are there. They might be tweaked a little bit for next year, since last year was our first
Sure,
year.
yes.
But that people can get a general sense of what the guidelines were for last year.
Well, it sounds like from the recipients and the awards that were made that there is definitely quality of life that's being addressed, and some measures to hopefully combat some of our challenges with the numbers where we're way low in our state, that those will help bring programming and awareness to just increase what we need to be doing here locally.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So this is all very exciting. How can women get involved with WHIP?
Well, like I was saying before, they're already involved.
How can more women get involved?
So what we're trying to do now is increase awareness, and being here today and broadcasting this, we hope that will increase awareness. The Aiken Standard has been very helpful in communicating, what we've been doing with the grant process. We are having an upcoming event. They've helped us publicize that. You're helping us publicize that. So we're trying to increase awareness. We do send out communications. So women, when you get your communication, we want you to respond, please. And we want you to get involved and come and participate. So anytime any communication is issued, that's how you can get involved. And so the communication comes out from United Way, and we give you a RSVP date, and like I said, trying to tip into what's coming up this week. November 3rd, at the end of the week, we're having an event, and that's an opportunity for all the women to get involved, the Women in Philanthropy, and we've invited our leadership circle, and we've also invited some women that are not yet involved in our leadership circle. We're hoping that they will become more aware and feel the excitement and the energy that we have around the women and children's issues and come. So on November 3rd at 11 a.m., we are hosting a tea. And so the Women in Philanthropy will have a tea. We're going to get all dressed up. We're going to wear our hats and our pearls. And we are going to benefit 4 shelters in our local area. We're going to benefit the Salvation Army and Nurture Home and the Cumbie Center, and also Helping Hands. And they have provided a list, and I believe that list was listed in the paper. If not, you can contact United Way and ask them for the list, and it's going to be different things that the shelter needs, basic needs for the children is what we're going to be focusing on. So all the women that come, they'll be donating items such as strollers and diapers and car seats and that sort of thing that the different shelters need, and that will be their entrance fee into the tea and to the luncheon. And then we're going to have a representative from each one of the shelters. They're going to share with the ladies a little bit about their agency so they can understand more so what those needs are and how they can engage and become involved and more involved. And then we're going to tell a little bit more about the program and how they become more involved. We had mentioned that there's going to be a cycle. So what we're hoping to do each year is to have a fundraising event. We're hoping to have then the grant process where, like this year, we issued 6 grants. We hope to issue at least that much, that many more, and in that amount, you know, we hope to give out at least $25,000 each year. That's our goal. That's our target. We would love to give out more. So if there's any sponsors out there that want to donate, feel free to do that. And then every year we want to have a give back to the community, and that's what this luncheon is. It's a give back to the community, where we, you know, dig in a little bit more and go, here, tell us what your needs are, and we'll focus on those specific needs and give back each year. So that's our goal.
That's exciting. So November 3rd,
November
and the event itself is going to be in the community room at Aiken Electric Co-op.
Yes, at 11 a.m.
At 11 a.m. Now, tell me, how were the 4 agencies that are going to be getting the shower gifts? How are those agencies chosen?
One of the basic needs of life is housing, a home. And when you think of little children occupying a shelter, you know, that is about, to me, as problematic as it gets. So we selected the shelters to really showcase the problems in our community. I've been in the Salvation Army shelter where families and children were being housed there. Helping Hands little children are being taken from their homes and they're housed there. And I mean, all these people are being well cared for. Nurture Home, women with their children, Cumbie Center, victims of domestic violence. These are all the areas that we want these ladies to really become knowledgeable about, to be educated about, so that we can move that needle and do something about these issues. It breaks my heart to walk into these shelters and see these little children there, when I know, you know, our children do not have to live like that.
Right.
So we are showcasing that as an issue, as a problem, as something that we can address, hopefully in a positive way.
Absolutely.
So that's why they were selected.
And that's how I became involved with United Way, because I took a tour, and first tour was to Helping Hands, and that just tugged on my heart, seeing that little baby in that crib, you know, and I've just been involved for over 20 years. And so, you know, focusing on the shelters, like Sharon said, is really going to highlight what some of the problems are, but also with these donations, it's going to make that environment much better for them.
Sure.
So that's
Absolutely.
why,
Sure.
you know, we're like, if you have to be in a shelter, well, let's try to make it as comfortable and as warm as we possibly can. And these items that these shelters need is going to help do that.
Yeah, make it feel a little bit.
More like home.
More like
Exactly,
home.
exactly. Which they all try to do. They do a
They
great
do.
And they do a
job.
fantastic
They
job.
do. They do.
We've all been fortunate, I think, to have that awareness and have some of the tours. And I know that these facilities and the folks who work at these facilities, and they're tremendous folks.
Exactly.
With tremendous responsibility,
Yes.
and do some fantastic things in our community.
Tremendous heart.
Tremendous hearts. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that list, the shower list, can be found at the United Way website.
It can, and on the WIP tab.
On the WIP tab, so please make sure, if you're interested in doing that, to check that out, to bring some items for the shower on next Thursday, November the 3rd.
Anybody that's interested in joining WIP or being a part of it, feel free to call the office in RSVP. We'd love to have them there.
Well, that is a great segue, Sharon. How can women join? I mean, what is that process?
As Stephanie has said, members of WIP are leadership givers to United Way. So you You make a leadership level gift to United Way, which is $500 or more. You can designate all or part of that to the grant program if you would like. So that may encourage folks that want to have more of a say in how they're, even though you can designate to agencies and all, but that allows even a further designation to the grant program. So we hope that this will encourage more women to be involved. If you are a member of WHIP, as Stephanie said, then you get to vote on these grants. So you'll get a little email, and you help us select where your money is going to go in your community to help out women and children. So it's fun. It's fun to be a part of it. You know, it's we talk about problems, but it's fun for women to get together to address these issues. Because we as women coming together, we are an amazing force.
That is absolutely true.
And we enjoy ourselves while we're doing it. And that's what this
do.
tea is about, coming together, having lunch, and having a good time, but also learning about things that we can do to make our community just a better place to live.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. Well, what is the future of WHIP?
Well, I think the future of WHIP is just to continue to grow in awareness and to engage those 540 plus members and anybody else that wants to join, and to just keep growing it. You know, we're in our very infant years here, and Sharon and the team, you know, we're very fortunate to have representatives on this team from UPS and SRR and SRNS, from our banking industry, from our education industry. So we have a group of about 10 women that are actively involved in the planning process, but it can't work without each and every one of us participating. And so that's why I'm hoping we'll have an excellent turnout for the tea. And then when we send out notices through the newspaper and on your program about events, that each and every one of us will engage and participate. So that's what the future holds, you know. And the more engagement that we have, then the more we can do, and the more of a difference that we can make than what we're making now. You know, we're just scratching the surface of this.
I think you are.
And we're excited about what the possibilities are with Women in Philanthropy, because as Sharon said, and as you said earlier, it's empowering. And when we get a group of women focus on a particular issue, you know, we're going to move that mountain. And we're going to change domestic violence in our community. We're going to move that needle for South Carolina. And there's, you know, a lot of opportunity if we all just dig in and take on that baton. So I'm challenging all the women to get involved and to meet us at the Aiken Co-op Community Room on November 3rd at 11 a.m.
This is just wonderful. And what a wonderful challenge. That's a great challenge. So this is always good stuff that comes from both of you personally, and of course the United Way. And as we're wrapping up a little bit, Sharon, today, you're wrapping up the United Way campaign.
We are. So we are in the final stages of our annual fundraising campaign, and thanks to the generosity of this wonderful community, each and every year United Way is able to raise almost $3 million to put back into this community, into those 50 critical need programs that benefit children, seniors, disabled folks, underemployed, folks that are victims of disasters, folks that just need our helping hand. This is a hand up. It's not a handout.
That's right.
And we're blessed to have over 35 partner agencies that provide amazing critical need programs in our community. And so thank you to our community for your constant and faithful support, because without you, there is no United Way, and our community knows how to live united.
That is so true, and it is, our community has such a giving spirit.
Oh, yes.
And it truly is amazing what is supported by those dollars and the programs that impact just what you were saying, Sharon. I mean, it's just way of life. It is making things better, and it's definitely moving that needle to make our community a better place, to get rid of domestic violence, to make things better.
Exactly.
So.
addressing those critical needs.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, ladies, thank you both so much. It's always a pleasure to have a little bit of time with each of you, let alone both of you. Your passion shows through, and we just encourage everybody to come out on November 3rd, all the ladies, for the tea at 11 o'clock, and we'll be there.
Yes.
And so we hope to see you too. And we thank you for being with us for Aiken this week, and we'll see you next time.